Have you ever seen an ad targeting women and just cringed? You're not alone. It happens all the time. But why? Well, it turns out the answer isn't in a marketing textbook. It's actually in neuroscience. Today, we're going to dive into the science of the female brain and uncover a massive blind spot in marketing, one that's costing companies billions.
Okay, let's just start with a reality check, because this is wild. On one side, you've got a staggering 91% of marketers who are confident they're doing a great job portraying women. But then you look at the audience, and nearly half, 45%, think those portrayals are flat out inappropriate. You know, that's not just a small gap, that's a canyon, and it's filled with wasted ad dollars and completely missed connections.
And here's why that canyon is such a massive deal. Women either make or influence up to 80% of all consumer spending. We're not just talking about groceries and clothes here. We're talking about cars, houses, financial services, tech, the whole shebang. So when you take that enormous economic power and smash it up against the perception gap we just saw, you realize this isn't just a social issue. It is a fundamental billion-dollar business problem.
So the big question is, how do we fix this? How do we bridge that gap? Well, the key is to stop guessing and start understanding. We need to decode the female brain. And to do that, we're going to lean on the incredible research of neuropsychiatrist Dr. Luann Brizendine to get to the real aha moment behind all this data. You know, it all starts with a fact that's kind of mind-blowing. Genetically, men and women are over 99% identical. So you might think, well, there's hardly any difference at all. But here's the fascinating part. That tiny, less than 1% difference acts like a master switch. It literally influences every single cell in our bodies, from the way nerves register pain to the neurons that fire our thoughts and emotions.
And you can actually see how that tiny genetic switch translates into the brain's physical hardware. On average, the female brain packs in 11% more neurons in the parts of the brain that handle language and hearing. The hippocampus, which is like the brain's hub for emotion and memory, is also larger. Now, on the other side, the male brain is about 9% bigger overall, and it dedicates more real estate to sexual drive and the centers for action and aggression. And look, these aren't value judgments, right? It's just a different factory setup.
But the physical structure, that's only half the story. Dr. Brizendine's research places a huge emphasis on the brain's chemical soup. And this quote, this is everything. Hormones like estrogen and progesterone aren't just minor tweaks. They are so powerful, so influential, that they basically build the reality, the very lens through which a woman sees and experiences the world.
And this analogy just nails the difference perfectly. The male hormonal reality, it's like a mountain. It's solid, it's stable, and it changes so slowly you'd barely notice. But the female hormonal reality, that's like the weather. It's dynamic, it's cyclical, it's always shifting. Understanding this one difference is an absolute game changer.
And that brings us to another absolutely critical idea. The female brain isn't just one thing. It's not static. It goes through these huge, profound transformations over the course of a woman's life. And each one is driven by a totally different hormonal cocktail. This means you're not just marketing to women. You're marketing to many different brains over a lifetime.
So let's map this out. We can break down these transformations across 4 key phases of life. There's the intense emotional roller coaster of adolescence, the juggling act of adulthood, the literal brain rewiring of motherhood, and then the massive shift that happens during menopause.
And each of these stages comes with its own unique neurological superpowers. Seriously. In adolescence, there's this intense, chemically driven need for social connection. In adulthood, the brain becomes a multitasking machine with a unique tense and bind stress response. Motherhood actually triggers a complete brain restructuring, cranking up the dials on senses and vigilance. And then, after the fog of menopause, many women talk about this incredible new phase of mental clarity and focus.
I mean, let's just pause on motherhood for a second, because this is wild. We're not talking in metaphors here. MRI scans literally show that a pregnant woman's brain changes shape. It rebuilds itself after birth to be different. The circuits for smell and hearing get supercharged. The brain's mama bear circuits for fear and protection go into overdrive. It is a fundamental hardware upgrade.
Okay, so we've got all this incredible science. The question is, what do we do with it? This is where we get practical. We're going to turn these brain-based insights into a real playbook by looking at the most common marketing fails and flipping them into science-backed wins.
All right, here's the quick and dirty rundown. The biggest fail? Using lazy stereotypes. You know, the old pink it and shrink it approach. The win is using actual behavioral data. Another classic fail is talking about empowerment but not backing it up. The win? Making sure your company's actions match your ads. Ignoring that women aren't a monolith? Huge miss. The win is to test and localize for different cultures. And finally, forgetting women in R&D, you get flawed products. The win is putting women in charge as decision makers.
Let's zoom in on that empowerment one, because we see it all the time. Brands throw around words like strong and unstoppable. But when the company's own culture is the opposite, it completely backfires. And here's the neuroscience behind it. The female brain has these highly tuned circuits for reading social cues and intentions. It's basically hardwired with a very sensitive authenticity detector. And when it spots that kind of hypocrisy, it triggers immediate distrust. So the win isn't just about crafting a better message, it's about authentic action. It's when your hiring practices, your company culture, and your product design all live up to that empowering message you're putting out there. That's how you build real, deep, lasting trust. You're appealing directly to the brain's deep-seated need for things to be consistent and emotionally coherent.
So where do you even start with all of this? Let's bring it all home and distill it into a simple, clear playbook you can start using today to build way more effective and authentic connections with your female customers.
It really just boils down to 3 steps. First, assess. Take a hard look at everything. Your ads, your customer data, even your products. Are they built on lazy stereotypes or on real insight? Second, set goals. What do you actually want to achieve? Better brand love? Higher conversion rates? Get specific. And third, implement. Look, don't try to boil the ocean. Start small with a pilot project. Measure what happens, and then build on what works.
And when you get right down to it, this is the bottom line. As Dr. Ari Masuti puts it, this isn't about being woke or politically correct. It's not just about fairness. In a world where women drive 80% of spending, understanding what truly connects with them is simply a matter of smart, strategic, superior business intelligence.
So, we'll leave you with this one question to chew on. Take a look at your own brand, your own strategy. After everything we've talked about today, can you honestly say your marketing is designed for who women really are in all their amazing, complex, neurobiological reality? Because the answer to that question could unlock the entire future of your brand.